But we're going to ask Cammie Monk to come up. She's got 4 kids, so maybe she'll do this for her kids, and other kids will be watching online later this week and maybe even live streaming from their homes today. And so the Monk family are coming up, and our very first children's sermon. So don't get anything out of it, you older adults.
Well, this is for the young, but also the young at heart. This morning, I'm going to say a word, and I know that it's going to bring a lot of images to your mind. So I want you just to think about things as soon as I say this word. The word is worries. We get a lot of worries. Another word for them is anxiety and anxieties. So we get a lot of those worries that build up in us, and we wonder, what are these worries? Well, the question is, what is a worry? A worry is something that we focus on, how it's going to turn out. And sometimes we have control over our worries, and sometimes we don't have any control over them. We can't affect the outcome at all. So when we have worries, they can stay in us for a while and get our stomach kind of twisted up in knots, and we don't feel good. We feel kind of weighed down, like we have a big load of bricks on our shoulders. We're trying to walk around with bricks on our shoulders, and that doesn't work very well at all. So I have a couple sponges here, and I have some helpers here, and I'm going to hand a sponge to Karis, and she's going to tell me how it weighs, if it's light or heavy.
It's very light.
She says it's very light. I gave her a dry sponge. There's nothing on the sponge. Kyler's going to confirm that it's light. Now, Kyler, I want you to reach your hand in this bucket. There's another sponge in there. You don't have to pick it all the way up. This bucket has water in it. Now, how does that sponge feel, light or heavy? He says it feels heavy because it's full of water. And worries are kind of like this wet sponge. They get full, they fill up every little nook and cranny. And they can just fill our lives up and make us feel weighed down like this. And we don't have much fun when we feel so weighed down. So what do we do with all these worries? How do we get ourselves from the wet sponge to the dry sponge? Well, there's a verse in 1 Peter, and that tells us what we can do. 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your anxiety or your worries on him because he cares for you." And I love how the writer addresses it straight to us. When we cast something, I think of fishing, and we cast our line, we throw it way out. So when we take our worries and we throw them way out to God, it's like we're turning them over to him. And I'm squeezing the sponge a little bit so some of the water's coming out. We get rid of those worries when we turn them over to him. And he'll take care of them because he cares for us. Cuddy, you want to give it a squeeze? Get rid of those worries, okay?
Nope.
And the way we squeeze and we get rid of those worries is we pray and talk to God. And that's how we turn those worries over to him.
Mom, look.
So for the young and the young at heart, when we get filled up with worries like this, and they fill up our nooks and crannies, our tummy is so twisted up in knots, we remember just turn them over to God. Thank you, helpers.
Mom, look.
And here we go. Oh, we got it all dry. Good job.
Can I pick up?
Yeah, you can.